Pain is the ultimate teacher. A lot of us tend to avoid pain. We run from it, we avoid it, we fear it. But what if I told you that pain could be your superpower? So let me explain. The truth is, a lot of people who are successful in whatever skill that they're doing, or even athletes, for example, a lot of them have gone through a lot of pain, right? A lot of injuries. The training is extremely harsh. They're suffering, right, in very extreme conditions and very like harsh training in order to beat their opponents. And when you are in that physical pain, going through pain during exercise, right, you feel very uncomfortable, right? You kind of your mind's telling you to stop. It's a very natural thing to do. When you feel pain, you want to avoid it, right? You want to just stop what you're doing that's giving you pain, right? But when it comes to exercise, when it comes to like physical exercise, if you want to get to the other level, you have to push through that pain. It's the same thing when going to the gym. When you're lifting weights, we all know that in order to get results, in order to gain muscle mass, in order to get stronger, in order to, get lean or whatever, we need to be able to lift the weights, do the number of repetitions past the point of pain, past our threshold. So the last couple of reps that we do, the ones where we're struggling and we're going through the pain that really hurts, that's where we're going to start getting the growth. That's when the muscles are really getting worked, right? And even aside from like physical exertion, aside from that, a lot of us run away from pain of the fear of being rejected or heartbroken. I've been heartbroken the first time when I was in high school. My first girlfriend, she cheated on me, right? And it was a very, very heartbreaking thing, right? I was in a lot of pain. So pain doesn't always have to be physical. Pain can also be emotional pain, right? And when I got over that, I became a stronger individual. I learned a lot about myself, I was able to create more mental resilience. I was able to look at my next relationships in a different way, right? I was approaching it a different way. And I've also lost people in my life. My grandmother passed away when I was young, and that was also a very painful thing to experience, because not only was I feeling pain, my mother was also feeling pain, because that was her mother that passed away, and she was going through a lot of pain too, and I was feeling that as well. And the truth is, a lot of us, we suffer, right? We suffer in our life. But on the other side, we become stronger individuals. Many people who go to war, a lot of the veterans, they have seen the worst of the worst. People who are living in war-torn countries during World War I, World War II. At this point now, a lot of them are very grateful for the life that they have, because they become stronger individuals, because they've been through the suffering, they've been through all that. They've seen people that they've cared about pass away. They've seen all that. So the point is that pain and suffering is part of life, and we should use that pain and suffering that we have to become stronger individuals. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of us we naturally become stronger over time when we experience pain and suffering. But many of us, we don't really reflect on our emotions. We don't really reflect on the pain that we felt and the suffering that we felt and why we felt that and what we can do about it, And I think a lot of us, we have the ability to achieve things with the motivation behind what we went through in our lives. Like, for example, like if you went through a lot of heartbreak, a lot of suffering in your life, a lot of stuff like that, traumatic experiences in your life, you could use that to talk about what your stories, if you're comfortable, with other people, so you can create a community. You can do something about it. You can talk about it to other people who may have been in the same situation as you have, and maybe that will give them a sense of reassurance, that you create like a support system for those people, and for not only for yourself but for other people as well. And by doing this, man, like by talking about it, like it just makes you feel better as an individual, because a lot of us, we hold our emotions deep down inside of us. We hold a lot of our traumatic experiences and bad shit that's happened in our life. We hold it deep down and we never ever let it out. We never like talk about it, right? Because it may be very personal to us, but I feel like we should be talking about it to certain people, so we're able to get it out of our system, and maybe that other person can, as I said, that you can become a support system for the other person, right? And honestly, every heartbreak, every failure in your life, because there's suffering involved in that, is also a lesson to be learned. You can learn from it if you let it. You can learn from, if you got rejected from a job, you can learn why you were rejected from the job, or what skills you can improve on. Maybe you need to improve on your communication skills, or maybe you need to improve on your overall qualifications, right? Maybe you can improve on your interview skills. And even if you don't know the reason why you got rejected from a job, even if you don't know why, keep improving. Find ways to improve. Your job searching. So apply for more jobs. Don't let that stop you. Use that feeling of failure or rejection. Use it as motivation to keep applying. Don't give up. You should never give up. And all the suffering that we face in our life, all the pain that we face in our life, we thought that it was never going to end, right? We thought this pain is this like terrible, is this not going to end? But then there is a brighter side. And when you come to that brighter side, when you feel better, right? Because eventually you will, you realize that you're stronger than you think, that you're mentally stronger, and you're also physically more capable than you actually think. And that should give you confidence. You should be able to doubt yourself less on your abilities because of what you went through. And everyone has like these similar things, man. Everyone is going to go through loss. Everyone is going to go through physical pain. Everyone is going to go through suffering at some point in their life. And I feel like the people who suffer the most, the people who have been through the most pain, are the most humble people. They're absolutely the most humble people. And they understand life a lot more than others. They understand the reality of life, that life has, good moments and sometimes really terrible moments. And honestly, I've become a lot more grateful, when I get sick, for example, right? And then when I'm on the road to, even when I'm sick, like I start like appreciating life a lot more. And when I start recovering, I start thanking God for this, like that I'm actually getting better. Like I thank the higher power, because you start realizing that like this is like part of life, but also there is some sort of presence out there that we don't necessarily see, but we can feel, that also is helping us to get better, if that makes any sense. That also helps us to improve and stuff like that, if that makes any sense. But what I'm trying to say is too, as well, that if you're in a dark place right now, maybe that's where you were meant to be, because I feel like growth doesn't happen in comfort zones. It happens in the fire. It happens when you're down in the dirt. When you're at your lowest point, and then when you come back up, that's where the growth occurs, man. Look at Batman, man. Look at when he fell into that pit, and he had to climb back up. He was at his lowest point, but he didn't give up. He believed in a higher purpose, and he believed in himself. He believed in his training, and he was able to climb to the top out of that pit, and that made him a stronger Batman. That made him a stronger person. It's the same thing with you. It's the same thing with whatever you're suffering in life. You may be in a really dark tunnel. You may be in your own little pit, and you're struggling to climb up. But I'm telling you, you shouldn't give up. You shouldn't give up. You got to keep climbing, bro. Keep moving forward. Look at the past, not for too long. Whatever's happened to you, man, the past is the past. Just keep moving forward, keep trying to grow, and keep trying to get better, and tackle everything with full power, man, with full energy, with full effort, whatever you're trying to do in life, because life is short. And honestly, going to the gym sucks. Going to the gym 5 days a week for 2 hours a day, lifting those weights, doing leg day, it hurts like a bitch. Going for long runs sucks. Being by yourself for a really long period of time sucks sometimes. Being isolated sucks. But those dark times, those painful times that you're experiencing, bro, it's temporary, man. Use that as like motivation to get mentally stronger. Like, everything is training, bro. Everything is training. Everything is a form of training. And everything painful, everything dark, everything bad that's happened to you can be a lesson if you let it. If you allow it to be a lesson. And honestly, man, just that's the end of the video, man. We're gonna finish